all of this, I think, is just so accurately summarized in Matthew 23, where Jesus, pronounces the woes on the Pharisees, and just the description of the behaviors and the practices of the Pharisees, where he talks about woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside also may be clean. For woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. So it's just this fundamental neglect, misunderstanding that this organization has, and then teaches members to have, of an emphasis that is placed almost entirely, 99.999% of the emphasis is placed on outward conformity, outward actions and behaviors and practices, and the tithing, the preaching, the all these things that you are required to get to do. And then just listening to you, the fact that within a year of being in this, the degree to which your mind was just consumed with this anxiety about, oh, I'm not preaching enough, and what if that means that says this or that about me and what I'm doing and where I'm at. Just the fact that within a year of you joining the supposed true Church of God, that was the internal experience, that was what your mind was being consumed with, is just so incredibly revealing about where the emphasis lies here. And that is that it lies on getting members to just exhaust themselves to make the outward look good, while inward, the leadership is dead men's bones. And I think inwardly the members who are being victimized by the organization itself, outward they might look good, inward they're dying, and they're starving, and they're miserable. And it's just it's such a, to me, clear demonstration, just all the things we've talked about leading up to this point, just that the pharisaical behaviors of this organization is just, I think it's uncanny. It's just so vivid when you just hear former members like both of you guys just describe your experiences.
Yeah, I mean, you're told, and I forget what caused me to get told this. It might have been because it was close to Thanksgiving, but there was something else too. It's like, when they do prayer, don't pray with them. Say your own prayer, because they're praying to the wrong God. If you have, I think I had a funeral I went to. Don't sing Amazing Grace with them. It's the wrong version. Because Amazing Grace, as we know it, is to God and Jesus. Whereas they do have a hymn of Amazing Grace that goes to Unsung Home. So...
Yeah, so they definitely don't want you to participate. They create this boogeyman of the spiritual world out there. Like if you walk into another church, like demons are flying around ready to pounce. And if somebody says a prayer to the name Jesus over your food, you're now eating food sacrificed to an idol, because they believe in a Jesus, not the Jesus. That's what they teach you. And that
Jesus is real, but there's somebody after him that's more important now.
Basically the devil goes by the name Jesus now, is their spin on it. But basically you were looking for God. They approached you at just the right opportunity. You were also looking for like a church family, that kind of experience that your sister was having in a church that you weren't really interested to join. And they came at the right time, at Walmart, oddly enough, being the right place. and you were passionate about it, but you were being withheld from really being able to participate to your heart's desire until your husband released your time with him.
He released me.
Yeah, he's he's like, go, it's fine if this is what you really want to do. So now, without this restriction on your Sabbath days, with this new open availability to go to the church, this is about 7 months in, I believe you had said, which is getting close
6
to
or
the
7.
6 or 7 months in. So this is towards the last bit of your time there. Tell me how it went from being like, I'm all about this, to I need to get out of here. It's, this is not the place for me.
Yeah, talk about the red flags.
Yes.
Yeah. So looking back, I now see that the more exposed I was, the more time I got to spend around it, the more I figured out there were other questions. So there was more demand. There was more demand from you, basically. So I was all excited I could go to all 3 services, but doing that every week, plus third day service, plus whatever preaching you had to do throughout the week, any festivals or feasts, which I think there was one that I had to keep during that time that I could do all of them. And I kept Passover. These were the ones that you had to get up and be at service by 5 a.m. during the week. So I'm getting up at, probably 3:30 in the morning to get ready, get to church before 5, then go to work for 8 hours, then
go right back to service.
Go to service, probably even go to service in between, because there was a service in the middle of your workday. So I had to leave work, use my sick time or personal time or something to leave, go to service for a few hours, come back, finish work, go back to service. Then it was exhausting. And I do remember it was around Thanksgiving time. My place of work was doing a food drive for homeless veterans. And I was all excited. I was like, hey, I have a church family now that I could get people on this. And given part of that was kind of selfish, because, if you brought in 5 food items, you've got to claim a day as a casual day so you could wear jeans to work. So I was like, every 5 items, I got a church family. Let's go.
Because you can't wear those jeans to the church, so you might as well wear
exactly. Well, so I posted in our group chat. I was like, hey, we're doing a food drive where I work. If you want to donate anything, feel free to bring it to the church and I'll get it on Sabbath and I'll be able to bring it back to work next week. Nothing was said. Nothing responded. Nobody brought anything that week. The next week, I posted again. And then the leading person messaged me, who's the girl's husband. He messaged me saying, I need you to take that off the group chat. I'm like, oh, okay. Immediately, I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do wrong? And I was like, I'm sorry if I did something wrong. I didn't mean to. I'm like, I really please forgive me if I did something wrong. And he's like, it's fine. I'll explain it after service. Well, what they told me and I had to ask, they didn't remember to just tell me. He said that this sort of thing helps somebody in the world and that keeps them in the world. You're not doing anything to help them get to heaven. You're not helping their spirit. You're not helping them come to God. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. And he brought up, I was in the Air Force. I did Toys for Tots. And that was a big no-no. Can't do Toys for Tots anymore.
Nope.
And I thought of my mom, because my mom would do that where she worked. And I was like, oh man. But then, I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, that really can't be right. There is no way God wants people to starve. I understand the whole worldly thing, but the Bible says that you shouldn't have to worry, that God will provide on things that you need to live. So God's not going to let you starve. So, but they don't teach you that part. I think it's in the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount. They don't teach you that.
Yeah.
So I left service that day, and before I went home, I bought a whole bunch of food. And I did that for several days, and I brought in a bunch of food to work for the drive because they told me how my heart was in the right place. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want people starving. These are people who served our nation, who served our country, and they're homeless. Like, they need our help. Like, if they're willing to sacrifice their lives to help people they don't even know, then what are we doing saying no to them when they need us?
Yeah, and that's, they created the We Love You Foundation, and that's supposed to be something that goes beyond faith and beyond anything, so they try to participate in it, but it's ultimately the purpose of the We Love You Foundation is to bring people into the church. Like, it's a front group for the church. And then
it's like a big blood drive, I think.
Yeah, so they don't care about homeless veterans. What they care about is getting credit for giving to homeless veterans. Because I'm sure that the church or they want to take pictures with them and the veterans. They want to take pictures with them with banners and all this stuff. That's how they want to provide, because they want to take photos so that they can use it to show their charitable work. But if it's coming like in secret, if they're doing something behind the scenes, they don't want it. Like, obviously, like, look what happened with you at this situation where you had an opportunity to help people who serve their country, who are now suffering. They're homeless. They need food. And they had an opportunity to help. And they told you to remove the post so they don't even need to look at it. That's how much it offended them. So, they don't care about any of the things that they say that they care about. They just care about the photo credit. So they're not going to get that from your job. So that's a little bit of reason why. And Jordan, you're probably looking up, like, when you give, like, don't let your left hand know what the right hand.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually that was definitely in my mind, but I'm just looking at Matthew 23 still open before.
Okay.
He says, they do all their deeds to be seen by others, for they make their phylacteries broad and their fringes long, and they love the place of honor at feasts and the best seats in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplace, being called rabbi by others. And then he says, he talks about how you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces, for you neither enter yourselves nor allow those who would enter to go in, which is just another thing that stands out to me here, but a bit of a different point. But yeah, it's just that idea that, when you go out and pray, Jesus would say, don't, go in secret. Go in the secret place where your Father in heaven sees you. Don't do your deeds to be seen by others. When you're about to do something, don't sound the gong and make a big show of it. And that is exactly what they do, right? Oh, we're going to go out and do a public service. Well, what news organizations can we get a hold of? I mean, what a perfect modern example of the precise behavior that Jesus said, don't be this way. Don't do this. And yeah, everything they do in regards to these things. And the We Love You Foundation itself is just a big, nice, shiny, whitewashed tomb that exists to just let everybody know how wonderful this group is, while inwardly everything it's doing is self-serving. The whole existence of this organization, We Love You, and the WMS as well, the whole purpose is just the self-serving purpose. That's what it's not about, serving others. It's not about self-sacrificial giving and doing and working for the betterment of those they're actually serving. Its ultimate goal is just to better its own position in the world.